Imagine you're on a beautiful and peaceful island beach. Now imagine you are on a crowded New York City subway train listening to the deafening clatter of steel wheels on steel tracks. If you could just go from a peaceful island to a noisy subway train in a second, it's because you used your imagination. What if you could imagine yourself to be even more successful, even more wealthy, and even happier? That's the topic of our next two speakers, CARRIE CAMPBELL and Dr. Brian Grasso. They're going to address this. How to imagine your way to $250,000 and more. CARRIE is a clinical counselor with 20 years of experience working with children with special needs, addicts, and seven-figure entrepreneurs and corporate executives. CARRIE is also a professional model and power lifter, so don't let her stature fool you, okay? She can basically bench press more than most guys in this room. All right. Brian has a PhD and comes from the sports training industry. In 18 years, he's coached over 20,000 athletes from young children to Olympic medalists. He has lectured regarding the concepts of mindset and performance to governmental and private associations around the world. Behind the beard, bald head, and tattoos, he's really a big teddy bear, which is true. Yes. Branded simply as Brian and CARRIE, they've gone from near bankrupt to a seven-figure entity within 5 years. They host a daily show called Brian and CARRIE in the Morning and have recently been approached to do mindset work while returning soldiers and their families for the United States Marine Corps. They ask the same fundamental question to everyone they work with and would now like you to consider it, which is, do you ever get the feeling you're holding yourself back but don't know why or how to change it? Their title is How to Imagine Your Way to $250,000. Please help me welcome CARRIE and Brian. Give it up. Thank you, guys.
Oh, you did so good.
Have you ever listened to a bunch of fantastic speakers over the course of a day, knowing that you were speaking later that day? Okay, so the laughs tell me that you know exactly what I'm talking about. You've rewritten your speech 14 times. So Joel, I'm taking from you right now by saying the aha moment, I might have left a door open. Yes, I have a PhD in pastoral counseling. No, I do not look like a doctor. And yes, everybody looked at me when Joe said Dr. Brian Grasso, because you all thought, really? So yes, there, door closed. Done. Next. How do you make $250K? That's what Joe asked us to talk about. How can we, for 10 minutes, talk to you about a concept or concepts that help you make $250,000? My first question is, in what currency? In what currency? Are we talking about American dollars, Canadian dollars, euro? Or are we talking about the currency of eliminating the limits that are stopping you from making $250,000? Because you know what I saw? I saw something so interesting. I saw my dear friend Sean give an amazing speech up here earlier today talking about vulnerability. And it was beautiful, and it was epic, and the audience was silent. Then I watched Dean give a talk about making money. Now everybody's got fucking something to say. Everybody's got something to say about adding on. How do you make? Nobody's got anything to say about where are my limits and how do I get them away. So, Joe and team can give you the best seed in the entire world. The perfect marketing seed, the perfect idea, this is how you ask for permission to sell. But where are you planting the seed? What is your soil? If it's concrete or mud, it doesn't grow. I don't care how much money these guys can take you to make. So what we do is we help you engineer and nourish the soil. The soil matters most. Your mindset matters most. It always has, it always will. And the thing that attracts us so much about Genius Network, Joe, this is directly to you. The number of times we have heard him say, it's not just about business and money, it's about the whole person. It's about the spirituality, the philosophy, the emotional, the mental health. And we couldn't agree more. So we can talk about quantum physics, we can talk about spirituality, we can talk about discovering self, we can talk about philosophy, or we can do what we do, which is dwindle mindset away from a theory and a really cool, fun conversation into 4 very basic, very easy exercises that you can do every single day that help you eliminate your limits and boomerang you into making $250,000 easy. Now the smart one, and I really need to talk.
It's a really good thing we do this together often, because nothing of what Brian just said is what he said he was going to say yesterday. So I always have to be prepared to kind of roll with it, which means I'm going to put my card down. Because like Brian, I came here today knowing exactly what I wanted to say to you. But then after listening to Sean and Joe and everybody else talk, it changed, because it turned from what I wanted to say that was on a piece of paper to what I wanted to say that was in my heart. And that's always where I deliver from. And if I get emotional, I apologize. But I take what we do very seriously. And so for me, how does this relate to you? And Brian already talked about it. We get really excited about the business, and everybody in here nods their head when we talk about the personal development and the personal growth. But what we've watched is people go home and don't often do anything about that. And then the next conference we attend, people nod and they agree, I have to better my relationship, I've got to do better in fitness, but they go home and they don't do anything with it. So for me, I wanted to share with you guys today some of our secret conversations that we have at events like this. They're conversations that happen after the presentation, over in a corner, hushed, so no one can hear, because there's still shame and embarrassment around the topic of personal development at this level, for whatever the reason. I want to tell you about the CEO who confided in me last year that she almost committed suicide 3 times. Actually, she attempted suicide 3 times. I want to tell you about the doctor who expressed to me that he had such deep anger issues, he lashed out at his daughter on a daily basis and then was riddled with guilt and shame and could not function. Or the business owner who literally hides in a closet and cries when the world gets too much. That's all very heavy stuff. But we can also talk about the people who stand in front of us and are wowed by the fact that we somehow manage to exercise consistently and maintain our relationship and have 2 beautiful kids all at the same time as we run a business, in awe of the fact that they want to do that too. And as entrepreneurs at this level, what I found is that we're all really good at wearing the mask and doing the job. And we go home, and why is it really easy to nod our heads here about personal development and go home and do what we're good at, which is business, is because we don't know the simple and practical tools to do the rest of it on a daily basis. So that's what we're going to talk about.
No one has to take notes. We have taken the liberty of giving you each a copy of this, which we'll give out at the end of this particular talk. This is our own personal journal. On the back of this journal is our personal cell phone number. We have a lot of tools within the mindset model, including a facilitation program where we help entrepreneurs discover where their mindset actually is right now, and therefore what they need most from an exercise and tool standpoint. This is yours, and everything we're about to teach you is in there, and you can use it for a full year. Call us if you have any questions, okay? 4 exercises you all need to do every single day. Number 1, can you all do this for me, please, so we all count at the same time? Number 1, hands up, number 1, thank you. Count your wins. Count your wins. Positive thinking is great. We've heard it for a long time. Count your wins, be positive, think positive. Here's what no one is telling you, which is the rest of the story. The human brain has evolved to be very negative. We retain, react, and remember negativity with a lot more intensity than we do positivity. You want proof? You get 100 emails today saying you are the greatest business owner on the planet, thank you so much. You get 1 that says you suck. Which one are you thinking about? The human brain is wired that way. Now you do that day after day after day. Guess what you're playing for in life? The highlight. Now you need the wind. You need the addiction of that win to make you happy. The whole purpose of happiness is to be happy for no reason. Thus, we count the small wins every single day to reprogram the synapses in our brain.
Hands up, everybody. Everybody hands up. I'm taking from Joe. Now, if at the end of a day, you count your business wins, you can enumerate the things that you did good in business, I want you to keep your hand up. So if you don't do that, hands down. How many of you, if you do this, keep your hands up, count your wins in your personal life, your relationships, and your health and fitness at the end of the day? I did this and I'm awesome.
All the wins counting are getting small.
There you go. Put your hands down. So when we're talking about counting wins, as business owners, as entrepreneurs, we're really good at counting the money. We're really good about counting the impact that we have on other people. But we're not really good at counting the nuance of things that happen in our days. And we never talk about the big aha moments. We talk about the little aha moments, the little tiny ones that if you don't look and you blink too fast, you miss them. Like my daughter was standing at the side of my leg nagging me while I was trying to get business done, and instead of telling her go away, I actually stopped what I was doing and I went and played with her. Okay, small win, you wouldn't notice if you didn't pay attention. But those are the little wins that add up to what we refer to as the AHA life.
Progress, not perfection. Exercise number 2. Can I get number 2 up, please? Everybody in the hands in the air, 2. Direction review. You must review your direction every single day. Who here has entrepreneurial ADD? You're lying. You all do. We all do. It goes with the territory, right? But there is cause and effect problem with that. And it's not just to the bottom line. It's also mental health. It's also emotional health. It's relational health. It's parental health. When we review our direction every single day, we put top of the mind into our conscious thoughts and therefore rework the synapses where we're going. That's like a compass. It drives us forward on the small journey every single day of getting to where we're going in the distance. Who here can relate to that? You have, Joe's talked about it today, you have things you want to accomplish, you know they're not going to be done today. Or even though you want them to be done today, you know that it's a journey. Reviewing where you're going every single day re-regulates the brain and the brainstem completely.
And to bring that full circle back to personal development, we're really good at building business plans, and we're really good about knowing where we're going in business. But the number of couples that I work with on an individual basis who have either they don't know where they're going as a couple, or they're both on completely different pages. That's going to create friction at some point in your life. I'm going fast because that 10-minute counter, I tell you.
All right, exercise number 3. Hands up for number 3, please, so you guys are with us. Learn your language. This is the foundation. This is the one no one likes. That's why we put it second last. Are you ready? You talk to yourself with more vitriolic intention, more anger, more nastiness, more hate than you would ever allow anybody else to talk to you. Am I wrong? No. Thank you. You're fat, you're gross, you're disgusting. Why would anyone ever love you? Why would anyone ever buy from you? That's how you talk to yourself. And I want to say this so well, with so much empathy. The unbelievable way you're all looking at me right now, with the eyes wide open and the head nodding, it means the world to me. It means that you're listening, and we appreciate that. You need to learn that language. That language is not unconditional. You can change it. You can learn to flip it. But how do you change something if you don't know it exists?
And we know that language leads your actions. Right? And I'm not going to ask any of you in here right now to put your hands up for this one because I think it might be too vulnerable. But there's somebody in this room who looked in the mirror this morning and said that they don't like the way they look. There's someone who zipped up a pair of pants and called themselves fat. Or there's someone who's still healing from a fight that they had 3 days ago with their spouse. That language leads to our actions. And we're all here for the purpose of making impact in this world. We're absolutely fooling ourselves if we don't think that that disconnect doesn't have an outcome on the other side.
Folks, we have so much more to say, but we'll end right here with our 4th and final exercise. I won't even ask you to put your hand up. Imagine your outcome. In the unconscious mind, you have a bias filter. We all do. That bias filter simply means this. All data that comes into us filters through a lens, which is our perspective. Are we successful or not? Are we attractive or not? A lot of that's got to do with the bias filter in your unconscious. These are age-old, self-aware, self-love, self-worth stories that have been embedded through experience that we really struggle with as entrepreneurs, as humans. You know what? The bias filter is changeable. It's completely plastic. Where's my big guy? He's gone. It is a plastic mechanism. The image you keep inside, the imagination you go to every single day on a regular basis becomes the language of your unconscious. That's why it's one of the most transformative exercises we know.
And this last thing I'm going to say is imagine if you were functioning at a capacity that was greater than you are now on all the cylinders of your life, the impact you could be creating in the world.